Ever looked at a blueprint and thought, this is just the beginning of something incredible? Welcome to the Inner Blueprint Podcast, where we believe the most extraordinary builds start with you.
I'm Sean Foyer,
the Universal Mindset Disruptor.
For over 2 decades, I've turned simple plans into remarkable realities in the home improvement world. Now, I'm here to help you do the same for your life and for your business. Make sure to take some notes, and most importantly, enjoy the ride. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Inner Blueprint, the podcast designed specifically for the home improvement industry. But actually, we bring on guests and topics that can benefit anybody that's looking to improve their mindset, to improve their results on the outside by thinking some different thoughts on the inside. Now, we always have amazing guests, but I'm really excited about our guest today. I believe we met, I think I was about 5 years old, playing in my cul-de-sac when I met one of the neighbor girls. Known each other for a long time. A few years ago, we reconnected. She was looking to help one of her employees with mindset, reached out to me. Through the process of that, she started working with me on mindset, actually worked for Sean Foyer Consulting for a little while. And then she bounced and started her journey, which we're going to talk about today. She is an EOS worldwide implementer. Anybody who's not familiar with EOS, you're going to want to listen in today. And I know a lot of the listeners are using it in your business. And today's guest is a seasoned operation expert with over 2 decades experience making construction companies and business in general work like clockwork. She's dealt with a lot of visionaries. You know who I'm talking to, you owners that want your business run perfectly, but then you get in the way. She's mastered the art of streamlining processes and getting the most out of any resource or any system you may put in the business. She's also not just about the business. She's passionate about helping others succeed. As a leadership coach, she's all about sharing her wisdom and empowering aspiring leaders to navigate the twists and turns the business world brings to us with confidence. And I'm so excited to welcome to the podcast my dear friend, basically a lifelong friend, a business associate, and now she is my EOS implementer. And we just got through with a day session going through one of our quarterlies. And I can tell you, she's damn good at what she does. Let's welcome to the show, Tricia Drake.
Thank you so much. So happy to be here.
Oh, welcome. So happy to have you here. Well, where should we dive in, Tricia? We have a few things we can talk about.
So many things, right? So many things. I think, we start probably a few years ago when we reconnected.
Okay. Yeah, and I'll never forget you reached out to me and you're like, Sean, I see you're doing mindset. I've got an employee that's struggling with negativity. He's got some challenging things in his life. And so we put him in the program. Mm-hmm. And it didn't work so well, right?
It didn't work so well. Yeah, it didn't work so well. A quick update on that person. He's doing amazing now.
Really?
Yes, was not in the right mindset back then. Made some major changes in his life, right? By making a series of really, really good decisions, and now he's doing amazingly well. So
some of it must have sunk in a little bit.
I think it did. Yes, 100%.
It's very rare, I guess, somebody that comes through for mindset work and we don't have a huge impact, but like you said, he wasn't ready, right? And if you're going to improve your mindset, you said good decisions, probably some tough decisions too, right?
Oh, yes, 100% tough decisions. He doesn't live in the same town anymore, doesn't have the same job. His life has completely changed, and he is so much happier. That's amazing.
I love that. A quote of Les Brown, I was listening to some of Les Brown the other day, and he said, easy choices, difficult life. Mm-hmm. Difficult choices, easy life. And sometimes it is coming to that realization that you're in a place where you're going to have to make some tough choices, but if you do, long term, it's going to turn things around, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So, not that I don't wish it, I wish that he would have done good back then, but I'm kind of happy that he didn't, right? Because that opened up the opportunity for me to come into your program.
Yes.
So I also came into your program. I came into your business, doing a little bit of book work, a little bit of that kind of stuff, processes and procedures for you. And, for lack of a better word, again, completely transformed my life. Completely transformed my life.
And you guys, and I have to share. So, Tricia had come to me. We'd enrolled her employee. It didn't work so well. I said, hey, the spot's paid for. Why don't you come in? And as part of that, we did her DISC profile. And didn't think anything of it at the time. And she came to work. She's doing awesome work in the mindset work. And I was looking for somebody. My business has grown. I need somebody to help me. And I started holding in my mind, I'm like, I need somebody who's really high on the S, really high on the C, good motivators, and literally your name popped up. I was like, oh my gosh, I have Tricia. She's got an MBA. She's been working with contractors for 20 years. She understands process, and she can help me take my vision and put some processes in place. And that's what you did. I mean, you literally helped me take my business from just me to bringing you on. We then brought Caitlin on later on and had a really good run. Let's talk a little bit about personal impact. So when you came back into the fold, you were single.
I was.
Raised an amazing son pretty much by yourself.
Yep.
But you were looking for love, right? You were looking for some self-confidence and to get rid of some of the negative paradigms. How did that go for you once you started working on you?
Once I started working on me, that really was the key. I realized that I had gone through, a series of, dating guys that were kind of the same guy, just wearing different skin, right?
Yes.
Same guy. But what I realized is it was really me. I was attracting those people into my life, and I did not want that at all. They were not the right person for me. It's not the type of life I wanted to live. And in going through the program, I really understood I have value. I have value just intrinsically myself, right? And what can I give to the world? I needed to work on myself before I could really add value to someone else's life.
Yes.
Right? And so in the program, working through all of the stuff that we worked on, saying a worthy goal every single day, right? Something that might not be true right now, but it's what I wanted. And I was holding it in my mind to say, I want to have a good partner, a good husband that does this and does this and does this, and really opening up the space in my life to say, what can I give back, to my family or my community and those type of things? How can I be a better person to attract a better person?
Yes.
And
it worked, right? Because we always say we don't attract what we want, we attract who we are.
Right.
And I had a similar experience when I was single for 5 years after my divorce. I attracted some pretty amazing people, but every single time there was some of these negative traits or characteristics that I had to come to the realization, oh, that's some hurt in me that I haven't taken care of. That's some unworthiness in me, or that's some lack of self-love. And I think, you wrote a list, right? This is what I
did. One day I sat down, I wrote a list, not a very long list. It was a short piece of paper, but it was 4 pages long, right?
Yes.
And I thought, this is what I want, and I won't settle for anything less. Had that list, read it quite often. One day I remember putting it aside, and I think my mind just stood on it, worked it in the background, and lo and behold, one day this guy walked into my life, through a connection that I had, right?
Yes, that's the craziest part of this, is he was there all along at some level, right? We call it manifesting, and it's not bringing something new sometimes, it's bringing what's already there into your experience. I love that part of the story.
Yeah, it's amazing. We both just happened to be in the right place at the right time, right? Open to new opportunities, but neither of us were looking.
Yeah.
For instance, it wasn't like we were set up on a blind date. It was like, this is my friend. Here you go. Hung out for a day, had an absolute blast, learned a lot about Mike.
Let's say his name. I've met him. I've spent time with him. Good dude. You did good, which means you are good, Trish, right? No matter what you used to tell yourself, you deserve love. You deserve this powerful man.
Yep, and Mike didn't believe me, though, that I had a list. After dating for several months, I said, I have a list. I need to check my list. And found the list, and he was like, instead of reading it, I just kind of out loud, I read it. We were on the phone, but I read it to myself, and I'm like, yep, check. And I was like, Mike, I don't know what to tell you. You check all the boxes
for me.
And he was like, no, I don't. Oh, this is silly. I can't believe you wrote a list. And I said, okay. So I took pictures of the list and sent it to him, and no kidding, every single one. There was 2 questions that we hadn't answered because it just hadn't come up right.
Yeah.
Right? So it was Christmas. Do you like Christmas? Mike loves Christmas, right? And do you like your mom? Mike likes his mom. So there you go. So that, the rest is history, really. From there, it just escalated, and my life has been blessed in so many ways because of that relationship.
Yes.
That I had, and bringing him into, kind of the Sean Foyer family, the Enjoy the Ride family.
Yes.
And what I love the most, I will tell you this, I'm not sure I've ever shared this with you. What I love the most is when I am struggling, when I am having a bad day, or, don't do my worthy goal enough or whatever it might be, Mike knows. He knows, and he knows what to say.
He's never done work with me, by the way. He's not in my program, but he's heard you talk about it, and he knows how you think because of Inner Blueprint.
Yeah.
And he reminds you, right?
He does. He reminds me. And he'll say, what would Sean do? You know, I need a little bracelet that says that. WWSD. What would Sean do? What would Sean say? And he reminds me, you're the person that brings the positivity and that outlook to our relationship. You're missing that. What are you doing? You know, what can you change in your life to bring that back a little bit? So yeah, we come full circle, and oh man, he's a great help.
That's cool. Sometimes you don't want to hear it though, even though it's good for you. I'm with Caitlin doing the work with us, right? I love our relationship, but sometimes she's calling me out. Aren't you the universal mind? Hey, aren't you the coach, man? Why are you being so negative here? Why are you spiraling? And it's like, it's good to have somebody in your life that understands mindset. And for you guys listening, Tricia just described how she attracted her husband, right? Made a list, held it in her mind. Same process in your business. If you're trying to grow your business from 5 to 10 to 15, you have to become the type of person that attracts that business. And it is an inside job, and it's working on some of the same things. You know, it's funny, as I've worked with people trying to improve their relationship, their health and wellness, or their business, the mindset principles are the same, and they actually apply to all the areas. And I think you've seen that too, because I know in your health and wellness, you okay if we talk about that for a minute? Because
of course,
you dealt with a lot of negativity in the past in relationships, and you now met your husband, you've done work, you're happy, you're healthy, you're whole, and then what happened?
And then we planned a trip to Florida. And then I had to call and cancel that trip. I had been diagnosed with breast cancer.
Yes.
Getting the phone call that day from that very strange random doctor, I don't even know who it was, you know, and I remember just sitting in my car thinking, well, crap, number one, I can't go to Florida, so that really sucks. And number two, it was like, I actually don't have time for this.
Yes.
Right? Don't have time for this. And number three is, how am I going to explain this to Mike?
Yeah.
How am I going to be able to just say that out of my mouth? Like, hey, oh my gosh, I have cancer. You've known me now a year and a half, and now we have to go through this journey together.
Yeah.
And, you know, talk about manifesting the right guy. He stepped up. Not that he had to step up far, because he was already pretty high on that pedestal, right? But completely stepped up. I had friends that, you know, came to my aid, and actually the friend that introduced me and Mike, I had a really long conversation with him one day, and he was just very open and honest with me about treatment options and what he had seen with his experience, right? And some friends that had, you know, been dealing with cancer as well, and having people just be so open and honest, really invulnerable to share their own story and how I could help me navigate through that, right? I remember having to tell you guys, it was, you know, I know it was over Zoom, but it was how, and just the emotions that go through you, and everything's like, hey, you have cancer. Now let's do this, you know? And a month later, I had a chemo port in, and I was in chemo and going through the motions and doing everything, and it was just absolutely nuts.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, one thing, and I remember this, and I've heard this a lot of cancer survivors, which you are. Those of you listening, she beat it, right?
Yeah, I did.
She's happy, she's healthy, she's whole again.
Mm-hmm.
But in that moment, I believe it was her attitude and her mindset that really set her up for success. I've heard a million times, if somebody has the right attitude, it goes a long way to beating cancer. And, you know, you were positive, you were upbeat, and then you were pissed. You're like, Sean, I'll never forget, we had like an emotional moment where you explained what's going on, and then you shifted the energy and you said, I don't have time for this crap. Like, I do not have time for this crap. And literally, and I know, I mean, it was, you know, the chemo messed with your memory, with your thinking ability, and you are a thinker. You couldn't do your work the way you wanted to. You didn't feel good. You lost your hair. I mean, you went through it, but through it all, you maintained your good attitude. And I know there were times, right? I know you had your moments, but overall, use the power of your mind to really focus on healing, on living. And the other thing too is, you're just that feeling of working your whole life to find a guy like Mike, and then within such a short period, to have a challenge come out of left field.
Right.
That's a test. I mean, that's a test that you passed with flying colors, but just giving recognition to that, I can't imagine what that felt like.
Yeah, he did an amazing job. He, you know, it was a great caretaker. for me, my family, everybody. And I know, just a PSA, I guess here, if you know someone with cancer, reach out. Know that you won't be able to do anything, right? You won't be able to really help them other than just be maybe a listening board, somebody just to say, hey, I was just thinking of you, because really when you're going through it, there's not much you could do. I think the one thing that I asked for the most was, food for Mike. Because, I was eating weird stuff. He couldn't cook the stuff we normally ate. It smelled wrong, or I couldn't eat it, or whatever it was, right?
Nauseated and sick all the time.
Yeah, and I always felt bad, and I'd be like, babe, I'm so sorry. Just leave. Just go and grab yourself some salmon or whatever, go to dinner. So, take out their caretaker, and take him to dinner, treat him or something. But do reach out. It's the friends that reached out, obviously, always so good. And we were still meeting, right? Mm-hmm. At least once a week if I could.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you that those were lifesavers. Obviously going through your program, I knew that I needed to do my affirmations and my worthy goal every day. And I said that I am happy, I am healthy, I am whole, I am cancer free every single day. Convincing my body I was.
Yeah, I'm not going to get into this. You got to come with me on a healing journey, not on a dying journey, right?
Yes, exactly. It never crossed my mind that I wouldn't make it. Never once was I like, oh my gosh, I might not be here next year. I mean, cancer can be terminal, right? And thankfully, if you have to get the cancer, get the one I got, right?
Yeah.
A very high survivability rate and those type of things. But things go wrong and it can spread and all those things. But that stuff wasn't in my mind then. It was like, what can I do to get through this? Because I am just missed out on an anniversary trip to Florida.
You were thinking of going to Florida the whole time. I remember that. You just held that in your mind. I'm going to Florida. I'm going to Florida.
And it happened.
And you did.
Yeah, we did. We did an October celebratory trip and realized that Florida is nicer in October than it is in February. So that's
new time to go.
Yeah, that's the time we're gonna go from now on. But yeah, an amazing trip. I went and got into the ocean, cried, laying in the ocean, just knowing that, it's a possibility that could have been taken from me.
Yeah. And
just feeling those emotions and that, water is so healing and those type of things, and just having that experience there, knowing that I could have missed out on it, made it all the more
sweeter.
Special.
Yeah.
It did. Yeah.
I mean, I have to say, we talk about it all the time in mindset. Life happens for you, not to you. Mm-hmm. And the moment you'd say, well, how could cancer happen for me? But on the other side of it, a new appreciation of Mike, who you already appreciated a ton of all. And weren't you surprised at the outpouring of love and support? Like, it's pretty amazing. I know for a good part of my life, I felt unsupported. And when I had challenges come up, even recently, the passing of my younger brother, I couldn't believe all the people reaching out to me. I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that person even had my number anymore. And it really is cool. And this is just a word to humanity. I think we get told so many negative things about people that we forget that we all do love and care about each other. And I hopefully it was part of your love and support. And I know you shared, oh my gosh, Sean, I've got so many amazing people reaching out to me, bringing meals for Mike. And that is a cool thing to see. And again, we get to the other side of it. So now you're married, you're healthy.
Yeah.
And then you had the entrepreneurial seizure, we'll call it, right?
That's a good way to put it. Yeah. Yes, I've been introduced to EOS, right, through actually you. Some of your clients use it and run on it, and it's an amazing system. I never really realized all of the stuff that went into EOS. When I finally broke down, read the book, did all the work, and looked at it, I thought, oh my gosh! And then of course you call and say, hey, well, gosh, didn't you know? You can do this, and looked into it and decided to take that leap.
Yeah.
Take that leap and do this full time. So, my full-time gig now is joining up with amazing companies, yours, a number of other clients, and really helping them work through their EOS journey, help them achieve what they want to achieve out of their companies.
And one thing too, and I love my mindset is creation, not competition, right? And when Tricia came to me, here we've just gone through cancer. Like she's my only full-time employee that was part-time through a lot of that, and now I'm gonna have to replace you. But I was so excited about. We talked originally about let's get you certified, and maybe we'll coach it through SFC, and then it's like, no, this is gonna work better. You go do this thing, and it's just been so fun to watch. One, as you left, you helped train your replacement who came in, and we just did an amazing quarterly. She's a rock star. She's doing a really good job. and you're building your business. I love it. And again, you're building this amazing business with all this experience working with the construction industry, which you know how frustrating it can be to work in a company that doesn't follow process. The owner comes in every day and blows it up with either his negativity or his big ideas, changing everything. I mean, you had a lot of years of frustration, right?
Definitely. Visionaries are amazing, right? They have a purpose, right? And you need kind of a wrangler to help wrangle them, right? One of my clients calls the visionary is the balloon blower upper, and the integrator is the balloon popper.
Okay.
So we can only handle so many balloons at a time.
Yes.
Right? But we love visionaries for what they do, right? All the ideas that you come up with, all of those things. What would have happened, if you were the type of visionary that you were? Where would your program be now? Would it even be here?
Yeah.
Right? So I love working with visionaries who also recognize that there's things that they could do better, right? Things that they need help with, or things that they can let go of and let other people do for them. I love working with that. I love seeing a visionary understand how that can help get them to the next level.
And that's not every visionary, right? I mean,
No.
A lot of business owners are closed off to the open-mindedness it takes, because EOS is a system that works, and it works every time.
Yes.
The only reason it doesn't is if a visionary gets in the way. Delegating, letting go, letting other people. That's a subconscious program that we address in Inner Blueprint that we help with. And I think you've seen, we can talk vulnerably, when we were starting our quarterly, I said, I just want to quote Taylor Swift, it's me, I'm the problem, right? I know, and I got called out today on accountability, on my calendar, on putting too many things new into the pipeline, all the typical things that I see in my business owners I work with. And the cool thing is, with one, you as our implementer, you help structure and call me out. And then EOS gives you tools, right?
So many tools that you can use. Even as a visionary, someone who's like, ooh, process, I don't even want to go there. Or, ooh, this tool, I don't even want to go there. It's something that you can use to make you better at what you're doing, right? My job as a coach is not to come in and tell you how to run your business. I am not an expert mindset, right? That's not me. I'm just
You're pretty good at it. But
Thank you. I'm going to facilitate those answers out of you, right? And help you run your business better, right? Build a better business, build a better life.
Yes.
That's what you're going to get to. And so all of those tools that we have can help with that. Especially if you don't think that you need them. Usually that's when you do, right? But again, I'm not here to come in and ingrain myself into your business and make it so you can't run without me. My job is to come in here and help you implement the tools so you can get what you want, and then I'm going to get out of the way, let you run your business.
Yes. What would you say is one of your favorite tools or favorite part of the process as you've seen it unroll in companies and you see them start to make shifts and changes?
I think the one that most of my clients get the most out of really is that level 10 meeting. So we talk a lot about in EOS about a meeting pulse, making sure you have routine, you have cadence, that heartbeat of your business, right? Making sure that you're talking to the right people at the right intervals, those type of things, keeping you accountable. Obviously EOS is all about accountability, right? Driving that discipline, driving that accountability through your leadership team first, and then cascading it down into your company. The level 10 meeting is something that can do that. You meet weekly on a weekly basis, 90 minutes, no more, no less, same day.
No rabbit hole discussions, no entering new. It's all.
Yep. No squirrels, no nothing.
I mean, in your experience in the construction and home improvement industry, how many meetings did you go to that were a complete waste of time?
Most of them.
Most of them, right?
Most of them are.
And for me, I remember even meetings I ran as a business owner, I would get done and be like, oh my God, that's not what I was trying to accomplish. Like we talked about it, and then we put it on to next week. We talked about it. And I think for me, I love the level 10 meetings. I love the accountability. And, one of the topics today was holding Sean accountable. And I'm being vulnerable, guys. I know some of my listeners are like, wait a second, you're always talking to us about accountability. But as a business owner, you're not accountable to anybody. If you want to change the rules, you change them. If you want to not show up to a meeting, what are they going to do? Fire you? No, you are the owner. And I've seen the negative ripple effect in organizations of an owner and even a leader that's not accountable. And that's my favorite thing is once you adopt EOS, and if you've been thinking about it, don't think about it anymore. Schedule, what's the first meeting called? The
90-minute meeting.
90-minute. I mean, Tricia, we're not here to sell her services, but she's available. She does have room for a few more clients. And if you want to schedule a 90-day, that's the first step to really get crystal clear on what's going on in your business. But I promise you, lack of accountability with the business owner and himself, and then throughout the management and leadership team, this will hold you accountable. Tricia, the right implementer, will hold you accountable, and you will be amazed. I mean, we just did our first quarterly check-in, so we only started this literally 90 days ago, and we did the ranking of everybody on my team, which we're a team of 3 right now. What do we have? A 40 to 50% increase in every category we measured on where we were to where we are.
Right. EOS is built on 6 key components, right? Our goal is to get you 100% strong in each one of those 6 key components that will help you get what you want. Right?
Yes.
So you rate yourself at the beginning, you rate yourself kind of at the end. So yes, 40 to 50 point swing just with the amount of things that you guys accomplished over the last 90 days, setting the right rocks, right? Setting the right 90-day goals.
Yeah, the rock is a 90-day goal. It's something that has to be done in 90 days.
Has to be done.
Everybody on the team has said this is one of the most important things that'll move the needle to better customer service, to better profitability, whatever it is, and you're accountable.
You are definitely accountable. But part of that, right, is that level 10 meeting, checking in on it every single week. Are you on track or off track to hit this rock? What do we need to talk about? What do you need help with? All of those things. So everybody's getting that every single week. And man, when you're sitting in your leadership team meeting and you're off track, and the lady's saying to you, your integrator saying to you, are you on track or off track? And you have to say, off track, right?
Yeah.
That's scary and it sucks. And then you can say, okay, next week, that's not going to happen.
Yeah. And that was one of my challenges as the owner of the business. Caitlin was being accountable, getting her stuff done. So was Heather, our operations manager, and I wasn't. And one of my challenges, it's kind of unique in the home improvement industry. The owner doesn't have to produce everything. You've got a production team, a production staff, but right now I'm doing all the coaching, all the speaking, all the training. But it was awesome. I mean, today we literally had an open and honest conversation. I mean, one of our big topics was just my calendar. Like looking at it and being open and honest of what we could put on there, what we can't, what we should take off, blocking it. And then we had it wasn't even me not being accountable. It was me not communicating what was going on. I was actually putting things on the back burner, still in my mind, hold myself accountable, but not communicating. And I know owners listening, you've been told this before. Your wife probably tells you, your husband probably tells you, please communicate more. Please tell me what's going on. And I know what's going on, but I'm a solopreneur for the last 5 years. Now that I'm growing a team, I got to be accountable to them, and I have to communicate better. And you pulled that out of me today. It was awesome.
Right. Yeah, I think that was a big breakthrough today. And I think one of the goals, but that really comes from you being that visionary, right? One of your goals is to stop working so much in the business and have time to work on your business. Yeah. You have some lofty goals, right? We have your 10-year, your 3-year picture, even your 1-year target.
It's big.
It's big. But you have to have time in order to work on that. That's one of the major goals for EOS, especially that first focus day that we do, is to get you working on your business instead of in it. You're always going to be working in it. There's always stuff to do.
Yeah, and you'll always find a way, even if you don't have to, you'll find a way back in your business at some level. It's funny, Tricia, because I know, and again, I mean, I've been attending home improvement industry events for over 20 years, and I heard for the first time at least 20 years ago, work on your business, set it in. But I never found a tool that helped me. To work on my business, that meant Sundays. That meant when nobody's at the office, go down and nobody's there to bug you and work on that. But if you've been one of those owners or even a leader in a department, and you say, I have to work on the business, I have to work on the process more. I can't be a big enough salesperson, and I'm not a salesperson, I don't get paid to say this. EOS will help you work. I mean, the visionary seat is all about delegate and elevate, right? And I learned how to do that better today.
Right.
And I delegated a couple of things almost immediately. But the more I sit in that seat with the big ideas, the big relationships, for me, the big speaking opportunities, what I'm passionate about, and let that go down and let everybody else, I got good people. And you listen, and you probably have good people that you're blocking by being a micromanaging, subconsciously controlled, get in the way, be the problem. And EOS is a great tool to get you out of it.
Right. Yeah, and Sean, that's something that I love about you is that you are open and honest and very willing to be vulnerable and say, you know what? Yeah, oh yeah, it's me. I'm the problem. I'm the problem today, and I'll work on this. And then having your team that trust in you to know that you're gonna do what you just said you were gonna do.
Yeah.
Right. You were gonna follow through on that. It's not like you hand it off and you wash your hands of it. There's follow up and there's trusting but verifying. But those are things that those people can take off your plate, so that you can now concentrate on something else.
Yes.
The delegate and elevate tool that we talked about, is something where you can figure out what you're really good at and what you really love to do. What brings you energy? Those are the things, as a visionary, as a leader in your company, anyone's company, those are the things that you should be concentrating on. I always say that we're always going to have to do things in our business we really don't want to do or don't like.
Yeah.
But if you can concentrate and really focus on the stuff that you actually love to do and you're good at, that will give you energy. That will get you out of bed in the morning, excited to get to work, to share what you have, your value with the world, with your company, with whomever. If you could get rid of the stuff down here that you really don't like to do or that you're not that good at, imagine the kind of opportunities that you would open for yourself, right? The stuff that you could be doing that you didn't even think of yet, because you've let go of some of the baggage. You're letting other people take that off your plate, right? We talk about letting go of the vine, letting go of the roles, allowing growth to happen, because you're not controlling every single thing that goes on.
And so many times, and you've seen that as business owners, we hang on to the stupidest shit because we've always done it. Like, I have to be there on Friday afternoons, or I have to call back all these customers. I remember one of our business owners was calling back a lot of his unhappy customers, and one of the other business owners in our group said, "Why are you doing that? Like, if I had a Sony TV and I had a problem, the president of Sony isn't calling me to fix the TV. He's got people in place, and in fact, if the president called me, I'd be nervous there was a really big problem. Why the hell is the owner of this company calling me?" And so, again, that's a mindset shift, but EOS just helps you with that. I mean, it really does. It helps you get crystal clear on your vision, helps you get the right people on the right seat on the bus. And again, if you guys are listening, I mean, I know for me, Jim Collins' book, Good to Great, I heard all these good processes, but even, and I've been a member of the Certified Contractors Network, which has great sales process, business process. I've worked with Grosso University, great sales process, the Breakthrough Academy. I've never found anything that helps a visionary or a leader step out and systemize accountability and moving the needle the way EOS does. And so again, not to make this a whole sales pitch, but this is about mindset, getting the right mindset for growth, and then putting the best tools in your tool bag to implement the vision you come up with. And in your blueprint, I have people right now that have huge goals, $100 million, and they're only 5 to 10.
Right.
They're holding the vision in their mind, and EOS just might be a tool that you should check out to help you with some accountability.
Yeah, the accountability, again, is one of the major components of why the system works. We talk about a lot your vision, right? So you have a vision, which encompasses a lot. Your 10-year target, your 3-year picture, all of these things in your vision. But what you have to do is bring that down to the ground.
Yes.
So bring it down to the ground, get that traction in your company. So you're instilling that discipline, the accountability throughout your company. We want to make sure that everybody is on the same page of where you're going and how you're going to get there. And so you have to be able to put, that's where the rubber meets the road, right? Where you're like, this is where we're going. And you start to see progress as you're holding people accountable to what they said they were going to do.
Yes.
That's all you're doing.
Or even what the owner said they won't do, which is get in the way, right?
True.
I mean, as you're saying that, I'm thinking about how many times in my own business and even working with others, we had a 90-day goal. The whole team got on board. They started to attack it. And every week for the next 90 days, the owner would come in with a new idea, a shiny object, right? And the coolest thing that I like about EOS, and I know Caitlin loves this, because I'm a big idea. I'm always finding new tools, new books, new programs I want to check out and put into Inner Blueprint. I just got shut down for the next 90 days. I can't add or rock. I can't add anything to it. If I come up with a great idea, I can put it on the list. I can put it for later. But for the next 90 days, we are hyper-focused on what we as a team today decided was the most important thing. And I can't wake up with this crazy idea. And I can't go to a conference next week and come back and be like, oh my God, I found the greatest tool for our business. Because I'm going to get shut down by my team, and I've empowered them and encouraged them to do it. And for me, that feels amazing. I don't know about any of you business owners listening, but how cool would it be to just be able to think big ideas and then implement a system and process that puts the right people in the right place to bring your dream to reality? That's what I have. Like I already had full belief with my mindset that I was building this great organization, but now I know I have not only the right tools, but the right people, and we're just going to attract more of the right people as we continue to grow.
Right. Yeah, 100%. The values that you have are amazing. We kind of revalidated your values that you have for Sean Foyer Consulting, which are awesome.
And we added one today. Actually, Caitlin came up with one that she's like, we need to put that in there. And
Yep.
I loved it.
Of course, it's enjoy the ride.
Yes, enjoy the ride is a core value. You have to have fun. You have to smell the roses. You have to be happy in the present moment. That's a huge part of it.
Yeah. And so having those tools in place and knowing that that's where you want to go, right? I think a lot of people think, I don't even know where I want to go, right? When we started and we were, what's your 10-year target? It took us a minute, right? To figure out what we were doing and, how big do we want this to go, right? What you don't want to do is allow that to shut you down.
Yes.
To say,
how are we going to do it?
How are we going to do this? I can't even imagine this amount of money. I can't even imagine this many clients, whatever it is. But we pull it back to do the 90-day rocks, right? Your 90-day goals. How do you eat an elephant?
One bite at a
time, right? How do you build a house? One nail at a time.
Yeah.
So bringing it back to saying, you're not going to tackle that. That's not tomorrow. That's the future. But what do I need to do today to make that difference? What's that 1% improvement, right? That we have to do today to start laying those foundations so that we can meet those goals, right? Focusing on the highest priorities of what you have to get done, that will always help you get one step closer to your goal.
Yes. And the other thing I loved about it is I already had my vision in my mind for I wanted the company to go. But using this process, it's not my vision, it's the leadership teams, right? Everybody got involved. Everybody had to say, yes, they get it, right? That yes, they want it. And yes, they're capable of doing their position, knowing this is where we're going, right? And I can't tell you how many times in my own business or even working with other business owners as a coach, the owner has this big idea. Nobody else on it. It's like you're literally flying, in a plane, and the only person that knows where the plane is going is the pilot. You end with a bunch of unhappy passengers, right? I thought this was a 2-hour flight. We've been up in the air for 10 hours. Where the hell are we going? Oh, I changed my mind. We're going to Bora Bora. We don't want to go to Bora Bora, right? But we outlined together and as a leadership team and key people in my company, everybody's on board. And the cool thing for me is it's not as much the top number, but it's the impact. And we talked a lot about, how our program helps people. And, for business owners in the home improvement space, you're improving the number one investment in people's lives, their home. And I think if you get on board with your core values, your proven process, your visionary idea and goal, it's a pretty cool process.
Definitely. Yeah. Knowing so much of what I know about Inner Blueprint, right, and being in the program for so long, that's one of those things where I am constantly saying, oh my gosh, that just ties right in. It ties right in with EOS, with our abundance mindset. That was one of the major things that I think really solidified my decision to become an implementer was the community of EOS implementers.
Yes.
In Salt Lake City, I believe now we just had one graduate from our boot camp. I think now there's 16 implementers in the greater Salt Lake City area.
Yeah, that's not very many.
It's not very many. The most supportive group of people that I've ever seen, right? I mean, technically, right, we're competing.
Yes.
I'm air quoting competing, right? But anybody would be there in a split second for me if I needed something. If I got sick and needed somebody to take over a session, they can step right in because we teach the same things. We might teach it, with our personality.
Yes.
But it's the tools that we're teaching, and they're the same no matter what. But overall, nationwide, I have implementers that I talk to in Texas and Tennessee, and that abundance mindset that we are here for each other and all we want to do is build each other up.
Yeah.
That's all we want to do and make sure that everybody else is as successful as they want to be. And that was the one thing that really was the kicker for me. It was a question that I asked some of the implementers here. How is the community? How supportive are they? Am I going to be on my own and my own little island and just be working above.
How do I do this? Help, right?
Yeah, oh my gosh. And what they got back from every single one was the community is amazing. And it has been 100%. And that's what I love because it just ties in with everything the Inner Blueprint is about.
Yes, we're all about creation. There's no such thing as competition. There's enough for everybody.
There
and if I'm the best at what I do, and if you're the best at what you do, I think about that. 16 for the Salt Lake. I don't know the number, but we're like the small business capital of the United States. I think there's way more people to help than you 16 consultants can help. I promise you that, right?
Yeah, 100%.
And now you've expanded into Idaho, and you are. Anybody listening, Tricia's willing to travel. She does some remote sessions here and there, I believe. She's very accessible. So, Tricia, a couple last things before we finish up. One is just any last minute takeaways or advice. If somebody's not ready to hire a coach and wants to get started, is there a book they can read? Where would you have them start on the U.S. journey?
Yeah, always start with the book that started it all. It's called Traction. Traction is really, for lack of a better word, a really good self-help book.
Okay.
It's kind of a textbook. So if you're more into audiobooks, Traction is definitely not for you. Traction is something that you're going to start executing on the first chapter, right? It's like, hey, now that you learned this, stop what you're doing. You need to go schedule a meeting. You need to do this and this and this. Traction is an amazing book. The author, obviously, Gino Wickman.
Is the founder of EOS, right?
Founder of EOS, yeah. A couple of years later, they did write a book called Get a Grip, because really with EOS, we want you to get a grip on your business. Make sure that you're running your business. It's not running you. Get a Grip is a little more, it's Patrick Lencioni style of fable, right? Yeah. So it's a little bit more conversational. It's a little easier read and an easier listen if you're an audiobook person. So yeah, either one of those two books are amazing. And every 6 months or so, they've started to release a book around the 6 key components. If you read Traction, you would be familiar with the 6 key components of your business, what you want to strengthen. And they're writing a book about each component. Okay. So People was released. They have a process book as well. I know, especially business owners and visionaries, not really good process implementers, right? Yeah. But Process is a great book. Really explains the point of it. Why we're doing this. Why do you want your processes written down, right? Why do you want to be consistent and scalable? There's answers for all of those. So those are really interesting. The Traction library is amazing. But yeah, Traction would be a great place to start and really understand if it's for you. And then if you want to coach, you reach out. Part of that 90-minute meeting we talked about is really an interview. Are we going to
if somebody wants the 90-minute, is there a charge for that, or is that something you do as part of the sales process?
Yeah, that's part of our proven process. Okay. Yeah, it's a free coaching session. You'll walk away with 2 tools that you can use starting the next day. Okay. So from that 90-minute meeting.
If anybody listening wants to get a hold of you and maybe schedule a 90-day or ask you questions, what's the best way for them to get a hold of you, Tricia?
The best way is either email me, Tricia.Drake@eosworldwide.com.
All right.
Or LinkedIn. Send me a message.
Okay. Awesome. Anything else? Any last takeaways? Besides Traction, what's your favorite? Do you have a favorite business book or something you recommend?
Oh, gosh.
Put you on the spot.
Put me on the spot a lot. So I will read Atomic Habits every time I get a chance.
That's so good.
It is a great book. It reiterates a lot of really, really good things that you can put into action in your life. Mm-hmm. He talks through a lot of myths about habits and, that 21 days and those type of things. Building on that with, Tiny Habits, BJ Fogg, building on that. And the little things that you can do to trick your mind, right? And to get into that habit of doing stuff.
Because once it's a habit, it's automatic. And you want to make good automatic. And I think that's a good... Yeah. One other question. Have you read... We didn't talk about this offline, but I heard Gino Wickman came out with a new book called Shine. And that's his story of building an empire on the outside. It is. And not doing the inner blueprint, right? Not doing the inside work. Yes. And he's been down that journey now and found himself, it sounds like, right?
Yes. Yeah, it's a great book. I highly recommend that book. It's very, very open, very honest, very vulnerable. Learn a lot about him. I actually got to meet him.
Oh, did you really?
I did in February. Everybody's always taller than I think. I don't know why. You see people on Zoom and then you meet them in person and I'm not like the tallest, right? I'm like 5'6", but everybody's always taller. He was taller than I thought. Okay. very well dressed, just the nicest guy.
That's all I've ever heard is he's just one of the most authentic, open, cool dudes.
Yeah, very cool dude. I fangirled a little bit. He signed my book, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, that's a really good read from him as well. They also do a podcast.
Okay.
They just released a podcast about kind of the journey, how it started, why they came up with the book, why they wrote it, and all those things. So it's a little bit of background information, even more so than the book.
That's cool. I'm going to create in my mind that somehow there's an intersect of Inner Blueprint with EOS, because I think EOS helps business owners take their business to the next level, but Inner Blueprint helps people shine, using Gino's title, right? It really does. If you're an owner that's getting in your own way, that's stumbling, get on a good system like EOS, and then get you a good mindset coach or somebody that will help you with the mindset, because to me, if you dual attack it, you're going to have amazing results.
100%. All the best have a coach. And man, am I thankful for mine. I am thankful for
Well, now you're my coach too, so we get a co-coach, right?
Yeah, we do.
I help you with your mindset, you help me with my business process and being accountable.
Yes.
That's my favorite word now.
It's the word of the day.
It really is.
Yeah.
Well, Tricia, thank you. I just, can't say, how proud I am. Like, I've watched you battle through health challenges, personal challenges. We used to ride our bikes around the cul-de-sac when we were little kids, and it's really cool to be here this far down the journey and see both of us with the power of our mind, using good business process and our good communities around us. We're enjoying the ride, right?
We are enjoying the ride. Oh, yeah. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Tricia.
And just like that, we've laid another brick in the foundation of your incredible journey. Thanks for tuning into the Inner Blueprint podcast with Sean Foyer, your navigator through the maze of mindset and success. Remember, every tool you need is already in your belt. It's all about how you use them to craft the masterpiece that is your life and business. Now, don't let the momentum stop here. Follow me on social media and subscribe wherever you get your podcast to never miss an episode filled with the blueprints to your best self.